What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back to the Justin Henry Show. Did you miss me? We was off the air for a few days, but a lot of things happened since we last talked. Today is May 1st. It's already May 2023. It is May 1st today, and we got NBA playoffs. Man, if you are not loving what's going on in the NBA playoffs right now, even if you're just a casual basketball fan, man, there's something wrong with your head. If you're not loving this, we had a game 7 with one of the game's greatest players, Steph Curry. We got a matchup between two of the top 15, 20 players of all time, and Steph Curry, LeBron James coming up here soon. The NBA playoffs is in full swing. We've seen some clutch moments, buzzer beaters, you name it, comebacks, road wins. Like, this has been an epic first round of the NBA playoffs. So we're going to cover the first round, but then also start to get into the semifinals here on the show a little bit later. We also have the NFL draft this weekend. And boy, I tell you, if I'm a college player and I'm like debatable, right? I'm hearing my name go anywhere from like first round, second round. You know, you just don't have a surety in your mind, a surety, like 1,000% that you're going in the top 15 picks. If there's even a debatable aspect to that, I ain't going to the draft. Like, I'm not going to the draft. Will Levis was down bad in the draft. Like, I don't want to harp on it because the young man, obviously, he was going through it. He had a little dime piece on his side, though, so I can't be too mad at Will Levis. You know what I'm saying? But to sit in the green room for the entire draft, the first round, and not have your name called, to me, they gotta start making sure these guys are actually going where they're supposed to go here in the draft. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, along with some other surprises from the NFL draft. But I had a chance to go down to LA, and y'all might have seen us on the Champions Round stream talking NFL draft. I had a little too much to drink. I ain't gonna lie. We was pouring up, but it was fun, man. Fun seeing all the team out there and talking NFL draft. Also had a chance to go down to the Laker game. That was my first Laker game in LA ever in history. Sat 10 rows up, right beside Flea. Saw Kyrie walking through. Bronny was there with Maverick Carter. I mean, I'm looking at LeBron and I talking a little shit to T. Morant. Like, it was fun. It was fun. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But epic experience overall this weekend. That's why we were off the air for a couple of days. But you know who else I haven't talked to in a while? My guy, M-Bone HD, man. I ain't talked to my guy, Matt. We got a lot to catch up on. It's been a minute. Matt, my guy. How you doing, dog?
You know what, Justin? I want to hear all about your weekend, and I feel like we have so much to talk about. I think it was after maybe like the first 5 or 6 days of the NBA playoffs, I was like, man, we can't buy a close game to save our lives. Like, the play-ins were so much better than what I'm watching right now. And then ever since I made that comment, it has just been epic game after epic game. I am so excited for these this Eastern and Western Conference semifinal matchups. I mean, we already got one down. You know, we got injuries, storylines to talk about with Jimmy Butler, and obviously got to talk about Curry versus LeBron. I mean, as a content creator, as a sports fan, that's the dream matchup. I mean, I just wish if it was to go to the finals, that's the only thing that would make it a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I am so excited. And as you as a Lakers fan, I can't even imagine where you're at.
Bro, I was on cloud 9. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was on cloud 9. Only thing I wish is like being there. I wish it was a closer game.
I was gonna say,
like,
yeah.
It was damn near a 30-point game. It was a 30-point game in the second quarter.
Yeah.
And so it's cool because like Champions Round, man. Shout out to Champions Round and the squad, baby. We was up in the suite. So we had the suite for the game. It was nice. And then I also, on my own accord, before all that even happened, I didn't even know we were getting a suite. I bought tickets. Courts. It was like 10 rows up. Well worth it though. Well worth it. Yeah, had to do it. It was, down a couple dollars, but at the end of the day, the experience was having you on cloud 9, man. Seeing the squad in person, getting to see, be in the ambience of all those other celebrities, bro. It's a wild experience. Like, if you've never been to a Laker game, and I'm a Laker fan, but if you've never been to a Laker game, it's one of those bucket list things. Like, you got to do it. And so it's, Dylan Brooks said he needed to see 40, and we hung a 40 piece on him. So I wasn't too mad at that, man. But the first round, you mentioned it, Matt, a bunch of close games, dude. And, we saw, like I said, we saw buzzer beater from Trae Young. We saw overtime game. Like, we saw some epic performances, but it's like, if that's any indication of how the second round and conference finals and finals is going to go, we're in for a treat because we got the superstars. This, especially like in the West with Jokic, Durant, Curry, LeBron, the superstars are there. It's all about the performance from now. We're going to see some epic like performances, in my opinion, I think, coming out the West especially.
Justin, it's also funny because I just want to go back to the Staples Center. If people don't know, it seems like half our team at Champions Round are Lakers fans, right? So it was so perfect that you guys all got to go to a Lakers game. And, watching that, I was kind of like, oh, man, like maybe we'll get a close game. That'd be so fun for you guys. Obviously, was rooting for the Lakers since the whole team was there. But, hey, they showed out. They did their thing. Memphis.
Yeah.
Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks, all those guys were kind of just I the whole time I was like, there's no way they're going to do a press conference. There's just no way.
Dude, those I respect Ja. He owned up to his "we're fine in the West" comments, and he owned up to a lot of the immaturity, which is a sign of maturity for me. There was a lot of accountability I think Ja took that he didn't need to take in the press conference. He could have said, you know what? This isn't my team. Like, I don't really care. This isn't something I want to talk about. There's a lot of things that Ja Morant could have done. But instead he said, you know what? These are my comments. This is my team. I got to be better on and off the court. So he addressed that. That's what you do as you mature. And when you say things that are kind of out of pocket, when you say things that can be detrimental to your team, or when you do things that are detrimental to your team, that's what leaders do.
Yeah.
That's what leaders do. And, to be the good guy or the villain, that doesn't really matter. But to see what Dylan Brooks has done this entire series, talking a lot, getting under the skin of people all season long, and then to come out and talk and say things that he did about LeBron and not be available to the media, I was a little disappointed. I'm not going to go on the same rant tangent that everybody else is and kind of vilifying him and crucifying him and saying, you know what? Oh, he's a coward. He's a clown. I've heard a lot of comments about Dylan Brooks in this, in just this journey throughout this Lakers series, especially. But Dylan Brooks is young. Like, sometimes you have to go through it. The moment is bigger than you are, and you don't realize the impact of your words and what dude has been a role player for his entire career. He's trying to build up a brand. He's trying to bring the competitive fire out in his team. He's been a leader for that team confidence-wise. And everybody's so willing to crucify Dylan Brooks. I'm like, you know what? I think he realized he fucked up during this series. Yeah. He realized this was an error. And you know what? He didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want to put his team in any more jeopardy. And I think he's taking a different role now. And he didn't like the atmosphere, the energy that came along with that. Sitting there at the game, he was missing a lot of shots, man. It was a lot of layups, threes that he normally hits. His energy was off. He was quiet. I hope the young man is able to rebound on this next season because he got a lot of hate. And yes, it was a lot of it was warranted, but sometimes you got to realize, like, maybe this ain't who I am. And I think that's what we're seeing with Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, and there was a play there where I think Anthony Davis came over, Brooks was driving to the basket, and Davis swats it out of bounds. And, like, as Dylan Brooks is, like, walking away, you just look at Anthony Davis and LeBron James just staring him down, right?
Yeah.
And I think he quickly, I don't even think it was this game. I think it was before that he realized these comments were unnecessary. They were targeted at the wrong people. And I think, as you said before, we forget how young, like, Ja Morant and Dylan Brooks are, and just this Grizzly team as a whole.
Yeah, it's easy to pile on when things are going bad and laugh. And I think that's the social media era that we're in now. It's, hey, let's harp on the guys who are down bad, and kind of bully them a little bit. To me, and I don't think it's a bully. He deserves all the hate that he's getting. I'm just taking a different approach with it and saying, you know what, there's time to rectify this. This is a young man's career. And yes, he had the spotlight on him. I think he was feeling himself a little bit. He was feeling the role, and it was helping his team all season long. They were the number 2 seed. But then he got into the ring with a guy named LeBron James, who we're seeing another chapter in this great career with LeBron, and he kind of shut that whole thing down pregame. But to see LeBron and just what's been the craziest part about LeBron and even Steph Curry is like we haven't even really seen until Game 7, Steph, we haven't even really seen like them play at their final form during the playoffs. Exactly. It's been the teams carrying them. So like We're getting Roy performances. We're getting D'Angelo Russell.
Dude,
Oh my God, we're getting some
what?
crazy performances out of these guys. And I'm just waiting to see LeBron versus Curry, bro. This is going to be an epic matchup.
Yeah, Curry dropping 50 points in game 7 in
Bruh, nasty.
Sacramento. Are you kidding me? I mean, I saw like an article about like, yeah, he was really upset after the game 6 performance and messaged Draymond Green and like gave this whole inspirational speech. And then just to back up those words and take over an entire game and put his team on his
Yeah.
back, like that was so impressive. And I love the Sacramento Kings story, but I needed to see LeBron versus Curry because come play out. I don't know if this might be the last time we get that. You never know. Like these guys are getting older, and I'm just going to be so dialed in on this Warriors Lakers series.
I don't know, man. I'm starting to be one of those guys. It's like maybe we're closing the chapter on these guys' career way too early.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready to go, oh, LeBron, he's going to go to Bronny, but I'm like, dude's still dropping 28, 29 points a game. Curry's still out here dropping 50 in game 7s. He's 35. I was ready to be like, maybe it's time to start ushering the new Warriors era. They're going to break up the dynasty. Like this team is still here. They just are fresh off a championship in the semifinals this year. Why are we closing the door? They're the second title favorites right now. They're plus 500. They're second right now, favorites to win the title, right behind Boston. So maybe we're trying to close the door too early on these guys. But for me, man, like I look at Bron, I look at Curry, and you know, LeBron has struggled against Curry in his career, right? We've seen the Warriors team beat LeBron plenty of times. I'm trying to think of a way though, like, do the Lakers really have a chance in this series? And when I watched them play, the reason why I think they do have a very good chance in the series against the Warriors, probably better chances than people think, is that it's not the play of LeBron and AD that's been super consistent and taking them over the top. It's this supporting cast and what Rob Pelinka was able to do at the trade deadline to acquire these pieces, valuable pieces, and get the highest level of play out of them. LeBron has brought the best out of everyone so far. They had a lot to play for with the whole Dylan Brooks comments last series. Interesting series we have with this Warriors team who wants it just as bad as they do.
Yeah, and it almost feels like, as you just said there, I don't want to go back on it, but Dylan Brooks's comments brought the best out of LeBron's teammates and that supporting cast. And with guys like if D'Lo's dropping 30 points, are you kidding me? Like, you know, Austin Reeves has been an absolute menace. Like you see Roy Hachimura coming off the bench. Like there's other guys where it's like LeBron and Anthony Davis, like they do their thing, but they don't need to be putting up these crazy stat lines for this Warriors team, or excuse me, for this Lakers team to advance. And I'm so interested to see like how that works. Is like LeBron gonna, you know, is he gonna be more aggressive against the Warriors? Like, you know, because this one's maybe not saying more personal, but it's, you know, Steph Curry versus it's Steph Curry versus LeBron, you know, Draymond, Clay, all those guys. I am pumped. And I think we also need to talk about the other series in the West.
We'll get to that. Yeah,
Denver that was a statement first win. Jamal Murray was fantastic in that game. He was so good. And I'm like, I think I'm one of those people that always writes off Denver like way too early. I'm like, okay, they're not going to beat like, you know, Kevin Durant or LeBron or the Warriors. But you know what? I think Denver has just as good a shot as anyone to come out of the West.
All four of these teams do. Like it feels like any one of the four, if you said they came out the West, it wouldn't be shocking right now. We'll get to that Denver Sun series here in just a second. I want to get your prediction though for this series because the Warriors Lakers, man, obviously this is going to be probably the marquee matchup of the second round. And when you talk about just the legacy that's defined by this, like we're talking about Steph, if he's able to go win a fifth ring, like that changes where we have Steph Curry rankings overall, especially without Kevin Durant in the picture yet again, right? LeBron, if he's able to bring this Laker team that was 12th a lot of the season, 12th, 13th, 11th in the play-in tournament and has them coming into the Western Conference Finals, making it NBA Finals again, winning or losing, there's a lot of legacy defining play right here that's going to happen in this series specifically. If I'm going to go out on a limb, Warriors, Lakers, I got Lakers in 6.
This is nothing personal, Justin. I got Warriors in 7. And I think Steph Curry and the Warriors kind of put aside all those road questions in game 7. And, you know, big time players show up in the big moments. And I don't know what it is, But I've kind of, Golden State was my pick at the beginning of the year to come out. Now they're supposed to lose to Milwaukee, and Milwaukee lost the first round. So maybe take all my words with a grain of salt. But I'm going to go Warriors in 7.
The reason I'm going to go with Lakers in 6 is because I think the Lakers will take care of home court. Right? The Lakers will have home court, and they protected home court really well against Memphis, right? Memphis handled business at home. They won 2 of their games. That's what you're supposed to do, right? The Warriors showed a little. Obviously, they were able to go in Game 7 into Sacramento and get a win, right? They needed to prove that they could win on the road. It did take a 50-point performance from Steph Curry, right? And the fact that it took that much effort to get that kind of win on the road shows that this team has struggled on the road. And if they cannot go into LA and get a win, I think there is a world where LeBron goes into San Francisco, Golden State, Chase Center, gets them a win. I got the Lakers winning this one at home, Game 6. I just think that the Warriors can't win on the road. The Lakers can. That's a big difference in this series. So the Lakers in 6. No, I don't like you on the Warriors, though, bro. You're on the Warriors 7. I don't like that at all, dog. I ain't gonna lie. You guys join in on the conversation with us. Let us know your thoughts on either of these playoff series. You know I'm right. Came in there, said Warriors in 5. What's good, Nick? Warriors in 5. Ain't no way it's Warriors in 5, bro. Ain't no way. LeBron ain't going down like that. Warriors in 5. It would take a major injury. I mean, we see Anthony Davis always go down, so you never know. But it would take a major injury in order for that to happen. So I'm not on the. I don't see Warriors in 5, 6 or 7. It's going to go 6 or 7 games. I think at least. NFL draft happened this weekend, though. Before we get back in, we'll get into some more NBA stuff. NFL draft happened. It was a pretty eventful NFL draft. We saw the team with the second pick trade up for the third pick as well, get back-to-back picks. We saw some guys that were invited to the green room, ended up falling. Will Levis ended up falling, talked about it earlier in the draft. Before we get into it, Matt, your team had a nice little draft pick there in the first round, pick number 9, Chicago Bears. You got themselves a nice little tackle there, man. How you feeling about the pick?
Justin, I was at the time a little upset because Jalen Carter was there and we traded back with the Eagles and then they took the second. Philly jumped us. I knew they were taking Carter. And I think from my mindset, it was more of like Ryan Poles pulls off like the masterclass of moving down or moving from 1 all the way to 9 and then getting the guy that he was going to draft at 9. But at the end of the day, protecting our young quarterback is the most important thing. And it seems like, I'm hoping Darnell Wright is going to be the guy of the future. I feel like a lot of times when you draft an offensive tackle early or a guard, it's a safe pick, right? It felt kind of like an adult pick. And like I said, if Jalen Carter was not there, I'd be over the moon. I'd be pumped about this pick. And I still am pumped. But there is a part of me that wonders, like, if Jalen Carter does become this all-pro defensive tackle, I'm going to look back at this and be like, man, you know what? That would have been like a staple point of our defense that we just kind of like. I wanted that sexy. I didn't want the adult pick. I wanted that sexy pick. And thank God the Falcons took Bijan because I'm actually grateful Bijan was not there for the Bears.
Oh, yeah, because if you'd have passed on Bijan to get Darnell Wright, it's the right pick, no pun intended, but it ain't the right pick. Like, you got to go get the guy, bro. Like, Bijan was there, Jalen Carter. It was surprising because I thought for sure, like, that team was interested in Jalen Carter at 1. They traded down. It would have been there. It is what it is. Better than taking a kicker in the third round, bro. I was like, what the hell are we doing taking a kicker? The Niners taking a kicker in the third round. I know there's not a whole lot of needs on this team, but I think they could have won some other positions. Like, third round kicker? I guess you got your kicker of the future, bro.
Better be the kicker of your future, like with a third round pick.
Yeah, there's a kicker from Tampa, Roberto Aguayo, whatever his name was.
The guy from Florida State.
Never I think he was cut the next year.
Yeah,
I hope that's not the case, bro. Because you can't have kickers invested that kind of draft capital in kicker. They better be a Hall of Famer, damn near. I ain't lying, man. But there were some surprises during the draft, and we actually covered the draft with Champions Round. Man, that was a fun time. We were here live stream. We saw the Anthony Richardson to the Colts pick. I had to drink a little bit, man. Before we get into these draft surprises, that stream was hella fun. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that stream was fun, man. We were on for 6 hours, I want to say. Draft coverage nonstop, the whole complete first round. But bro, I'm too old to be drinking like that. I'm not gonna lie, dog. I was hurt, bro. Like, I was hungover, right? Like in LA, we were out there Friday. I was hungover, but Saturday hungover. Sunday, I came home, like didn't have
Oh,
nothing to drink on Friday or Saturday. Still hungover, man.
oh,
Like you get this old. I know you're young. When you get this old, bro, like you got to slow down a little bit, man.
there's nothing worse than being hungover on an airplane ride. There just isn't.
I'm like, bro, like I'm not. It was a fun time. It was a fun ass time. I'm not gonna lie. Like going out hanging out with the crew, but yeah, it was regret, instant regret on my end. But during that time, man, we saw a lot of things happen. A lot of crazy things were happening. Anthony Richardson to the Colts coming into the draft. Will Levis was talked about. He's flying up draft boards, potentially be number 1, number 2. Reddit is dropping threads on saying, I have insider information that says Will Levis could be a number 1 or 2 pick. And obviously that didn't happen. He fell out the first round. But Anthony Richardson, to a team that desperately needed a QB, decided to pass on Will Levis and take A-Rich, who Jim Irsay came out and said that was the top quarterback on our board. If he was there at number 1, he would have been the first pick. What was your thought when A-Rich went to the Colts, man? Because to me, it seems like a really good fit.
Yeah, I wasn't too surprised. I will say, all this Will Levis speculation about him going like number 1 kind of threw me off. But after Anthony Richardson, like the combine and after all the numbers he put out, I thought there was a good chance he was going to go top 10. I didn't know if he was going to go that early, and I thought maybe Will Levis would go before him. I don't know if you saw Jim Irsay put out a tweet like the following night or that night. He's like, if Will Levis is still available, do we draft him and have like a Montana Steve Young type situation,
Ooh.
which was really funny. Obviously, that didn't pan out. But I'm excited. I think it's going to be interesting because the Colts, they got Pittman, they got Taylor, they got a couple nice pieces there. How quickly, Anthony Richardson, I guess you would use the term raw, right? Like
He's raw, yeah.
He's raw. Like,
inexperience, right? Like he doesn't have the full college career where he got to start and play all these games, and we saw a lot of tape on him. He has a raw skill set, but I think just being the most athletic quarterback the league's ever seen, like to me, that already brings an edge to the table. When you have, the Colts had a decent old line, and obviously there was a drop off in play last year. But still, like you mentioned, all the weapons are still around them. They had Alec Pierce that they had in the draft last year, just drafted a receiver. This year was a Josh Downs they drafted this year. So the team is full with weapons. Like Jelani Wood, 6'7", big tight end. It can potentially be a playmaker for them as well. Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. So I'm very confident that this Colts team will at least be competitive in a pretty weak AFC South. It's not like this. The AFC South has 3 rookie quarterbacks now with CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Will Levis probably being the starter for the Titans. So it's not like this division isn't winnable here in the near future. I don't mind the move, and I think it was a good move for a franchise that needed a change, man. The old quarterbacks. Old quarterbacks. They've been trying to fix that thing since Andrew Luck, and it wasn't happening. So the other team that kind of made some noise the first round there, Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm convinced at this point Philly's going to have like a full Georgia team. Like if they just go to the Georgia Pro Day and draft everyone, which is a great idea considering how dominant they are in college football.
My thing is this. How the hell is the league letting this happen?
I know.
Like why are the Bears, your team, letting this team come up to go get their guy, Jalen Carter? How are they letting Nolan Smith fall all the way to the end of the first round so that the Eagles can just scoop him up? Yeah. And there's going to be no drop-off when Hassan Reddick is his comp. Like that's who he plays. Like, and to just have that replenished without any penalty at all. The Eagles, it's like the Eagles are doing like, remember how the Pats used to just seem like they always got their guy. They always replenish, and there was no penalty for them. There was no Patriots tax. Felt like they got everybody at a discount. It kind of feels like that's what's happening with the Eagles. And then they go and they trade for DeAndre Swift for a 4th rounder. Like, how was the league letting the Eagles just do this? It's insane to me, man. Like the Eagles, shout out to the Eagles. Howard Roseman doing a hell of a job over there, man. It feels like he's playing the game on easy mode.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions also made a nice move up, getting Jahmyr Gibbs. It was surprising though. What'd you think when that happened, bro? Because obviously being in division, you're gonna have to go against a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs. DeAndre Swift out of there. What was your thought when that happened?
I was shocked. I think anyone will say that they were surprised. I imagined Bijan potentially going top 10 or top 15. And I thought maybe, the Lions scooped him up. I could see it. But when they went for Gibbs was it 12?
Yeah, it was 12. Pick number
12. Like my first thought was like, he was going to I know they said all other teams are calling about him. Yeah. I think that's bullshit. I do. I don't envision, maybe I'm missing it. And I think Gibbs is a great player. Like I remember watching him at Alabama last year when they played Texas. The guy's, he's an elite player, but for a league that it seems like we're running backs, like when was the last time running backs have been drafted like, that early? It's
That's two.
crazy.
Two of them
That's
drafted in the
2
top 15, man.
in
That's
the top
wild.
15.
And this team didn't feel like Detroit doesn't feel like it's a running back away. But to me, if you feel like you got your guy there, and then they went and got Hendon Hooker later in the draft, so
Yeah.
it can kind of pair that duo up potentially in the future once Jared Goff's out of there. I don't know. I didn't love the move, but I get it. If you're looking to establish a run game and you're just not getting the production you wanted out of DeAndre Swift, shit, it happens, man.
And they just, they signed David Montgomery. They just in the
Yeah.
offseason, like that's what kind of threw me off. They gave David Montgomery some money, but hey, you know what? We'll see.
We will see. A little feel good story though. Joey Porter there at the top of the second round was that was a good feel good moment. I was like in the first round, I was like, there's no way they're passing on them, and they did. And then when it happened again in the second round, I was like, all right, cool. That's the feel good story we all wanted to hear. What was your thoughts on Will Levis, bro? I talked about it at the top of the show. Will Levis, obviously the slide is there, and if I'm a future draft prospect, like I'm watching these guys slip out of the first round, that's not like unless you're guaranteed to go in the top 10, 15, I'd be like, I'm denying it. Like the NFL, that's more embarrassing, bad for your brand than it is anything. And yeah, these guys can play. Oh, I got a chip on my shoulder now. Nah, you want to go to the draft. You get all teed up to the nines. You go rent the suit out. You bring your family. You bring your lady. You want to get drafted. You want to guarantee that you're getting drafted. And having these guys go to the draft and kind of just sit there in embarrassment, it's a bad look. I think it's a bad look for the league more so than anything.
Yeah, and just the fact that like the camera pans over to him after every pick, it's just tough. And I know Will Levis there's some weird stuff that he does, like the mayonnaise with his coffee and all that. But I've watched some interviews, and he seems like a pretty cool and a nice, down to earth guy. And you got to remember these kids are young, man.
Yeah,
like, these are kids at the end of the day, and I completely agree with what you said at the very beginning of the show. Unless I know I'm a lock to go in, I'm not showing up, especially after that. Like, I don't want to go through that. That's going to be, the storyline. No one's going to talk about, Will Levis, the player at Kentucky, or anything about. They're just going to look at, what happened on draft night. And sure, if it's like an Aaron Rodgers situation, I'll look back and be like, oh, that team was an idiot. That team was stupid.
Yeah.
But it's just.
It's crazy that Tennessee drafted both of the guys in the last 2 years that they happened to. Malik Willis and him. Like, we didn't see Malik Willis flying all the way down, and he had to go all the way in the third round for Malik. So, Will Levis, man, we'll see how his career ends up. Question coming in, he says, will Bijan be as good as Barkley was in his rookie year? And with Atlanta having a lot of holes on that team, it was surprising to kind of see them go Bijan. Like, I think I mocked them to Arizona, to Atlanta, and it happened, which is crazy when you actually mock something that actually goes right. But when I look at Bijan, I think he'll get a huge workload. The team has Tyler Algier, who's coming off a 1,000-yard season himself last year, or close to it. I want to say he got 1,000 yards last year. But I think that Bijan will be special. And I think in fantasy, Bijan Robinson is going to be a top 5 to 10 running back next season. Like, you have to draft him in that. I would not be shocked to say that he is not going to last outside the first round in many fantasy drafts this year. I think he's that caliber player, and I think he has that caliber of impact.
Justin, Roschon Johnson. Do you know who that is? The Bears got him in the third round. So he was Bijan's backup running back the last 2 years. He is a stud, right? If he didn't play behind Bijan Robinson, he would have been a household name at the University of Texas. The Bears got him in the third round. I would not be shocked if he is the starting running back on the Chicago Bears by the end of the season. I think he's that good. I think he's that electric. I don't play fantasy football myself, but just maybe, just
you're gonna have to this year. Hey, I'm getting you in a league.
I know. I actually was back in high school. I was a huge fantasy football guy. I had a league with all my friends. I'm sure you've seen the TV show The League.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
We had pink T-shirts that said The League on it. I wore it for my junior year picture day, right? I need to bring out the yearbook to show you guys. But I will come back. My thing is, like, if I play in a league, I want it to be like competitive. Like, I want to be with guys that are, making lineups every week and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, guys that were sitting out of the league, not making
Yeah,
any
it
trades,
was
not
like
ad
week
dropping,
4,
all the
and they
ghost teams.
had
No.
like some running back that's out for the year starting. I'm like, dude, I'm not
Yeah,
doing
nah,
this,
we're
man.
gonna have it actively. Maybe we'll get some people, some fans in there as well. But we got to get a league going, man, because
Definitely.
I'm a dog in fantasy. I'm game you up, bro. You gonna
Okay.
see me on the show. You gonna learn fantasy. You gonna win your league too. Just not
Okay.
the league you in with me. So, but no, I think Bijan, man, it was a great pick. And like I said, we'll see. But I probably, if I had to gut call it today, I would say he's a first round draft pick, back into the first round draft pick right now. So that's where I got him. Yo, I know you see me drinking this shit, bro. Like, this is my juice, man. I told you about it, man. So after on Friday morning, I had a juice. I had like kale, apple, lemon. It was the best decision I ever made. So since then, every day since then, I've had a juice. Here's another one right here. I had to get it going, man. A couple trades that did not happen during the draft. D-Hop, I thought for sure DeAndre Hopkins was going to go. Ezekiel Elliott, he did not sign with anybody. Like, it was kind of like, we're waiting on the Zeke news. Dalvin Cook did not get traded. Was there anybody you were like, I expected him to get traded and they didn't?
I would probably say it was DeAndre Hopkins. Like, I was almost certain that we were going to see him get dealt. And I'm a little surprised that he wasn't traded. And especially with like Arizona, I don't really know what's going on. Like at this point in time with their direction, I feel like I'm not going to rule out a DeAndre Hopkins trade. Like, I still think it's going to happen at some point, but I 100% am not going to lie. I thought it was going to happen during the draft.
Yeah, I thought if D-Hop was getting moved, it would have been like, hey, breaking news, like during not DeAndre Swift. I was thinking it'd be D-Hop, right? Another player that was kind of like everybody thought was going to get traded, and they were hounding me on the Champions Round show about it, Trey Lance. Everybody thought Trey Lance was getting moved during the draft, and he didn't go either. Announcement came out that he is 100% ready to go for offseason activities. Now, John Lynch said he is full go, full steam ahead. He didn't get moved. Were you surprised by that at all? I wasn't. I knew Trey was staying.
No, I thought it was going to take something crazy to move Trey Lance, and I don't think San Francisco's not ready to give up on him. And I honestly, like, I'm happy that they didn't move him because, I want to see them give him a fair shot with the talent that San Francisco has around their offense.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about with the NFL. It's going to be dry for a little bit. Tomorrow, actually. Fifth-year options are up for a lot of the rookies. Jordan Love is one of the guys they have to make a decision on. So a lot of those fifth-year options that haven't been decided yet, and then we don't have anything till July, till training camp starts up. So we'll have a little bit of a dry time NFL, but we will have plenty of NBA coverage. And obviously, with the semifinals going and conference finals, NBA finals, we'll be talking about that. But the series that has already started, there's been two already that have started. Suns and Nuggets sitting at 1-0 right now, Matt. And you made a hell of a point about it earlier. This is going to be a really good series because not only do we just have Nikola Jokic, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, like we've heard those names. We're seeing a resurgence from my guy, Jamal Murray. The Blue Arrow is his nickname. He's back, bro. I don't think it's bubble Jamal Murray. I think that's just not injured Jamal Murray.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw when they asked him after the game, like what got into him. He said he was watching tape of Michael Jordan before the game.
Oh, really?
So I kept looking up the scoreboard. I thought Jamal Murray had like 50 points. Like he was not missing. And the difficulty of some of the shots he was hitting, like it was step back threes. It was crazy. It was unguardable, like off one foot, fading away. I mean, he took over that game and, really, really impressive game one win for the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah. And I think that's one of those things though. It's game one. Home team did what they're supposed to do, and Jamal Murray played a hell of a game. Jokic does what he always does. But I think we're going to see a really concerted effort out of the Suns Nuggets team. Out of this Suns Nuggets team, this Suns team, I think they're going to play well, right? Like we're talking about the series. I'm like, just Suns Nuggets have them grouped together. But the Phoenix Suns, man, this is one of those teams that has a lot of veteran experience. They have a lot of closers. And yes, the depth isn't what we thought. Obviously it's not a super deep team, but the team has the superstars. I expect them to come into game two and really play like that's a must-win game for them. I don't think they want to go back to Phoenix down 2-0. And I think that they can win this game. Kevin Durant, like, he does have the championship pedigree, and he knows what it takes. And D-Book, yeah, we've seen a really elevated level of play from him, but we got to see it tonight. That thin air might have been getting to him in game one. So we got another coming in. Jerry Judy got his contract picked up today, so 5th-year option. That's a good move for them. Obviously, there was a lot of, is Jerry Judy going to get traded? Cortland Sutton going to get traded? So it looks like Jerry Judy at least be staying for another season, possibly. They picked up his option, so we'll see. And I hope Denver sweeps the Suns to shut up Phoenix fans. Whoa, Dirk coming in with a little energy today. Shut up. What are Phoenix fans? The Phoenix fans, have they been talking a lot of mess? I haven't even really been seeing it. He said, but realistically, Denver winning in 5 or 6. Now, if I had to make a prediction for this series, since we didn't get a chance to really, it happened quick, man. We didn't get a chance to do predictions for this series. I've had the Suns winning this, like going to the finals out of the West. I've kind of felt like they're the best team. Getting a chance to watch game 1 doesn't really change everything for me, right? I still think the Suns are the better team, better players, I should say, in the series. But this Denver team is legit, bro. They're legit. They have this strong a 4 as Phoenix has. Denver has a strong 4 as well. I'm going to roll with the Suns in 6. Okay. Kind of has the same feel to me as the Lakers series, where I think the Phoenix goes in and gets a game. I could see it going 7, but Phoenix in 6 is my official play.
I'm going to say Suns in 7. I need to see more effort out of DeAndre. And I don't know if I saw this clip of him during game 1 on like the boards and stuff like that. And he's literally just standing there while like Jokic is grabbing a rebound, just not even boxing anybody out. And people are making comments about like this has been going on for years now. And he has to play better, especially against going on the defensive side of thing, going up against Nikola. I fully expect Phoenix to come into game 2 with a different level of energy and to win this game tonight.
Yeah, if Ayton's not playing with a high motor, which has been his problem throughout the season, then yeah, it is going to be a long series. And you know that player you're talking about, it's like you can make an excuse and say, okay, maybe he thought Joker had the rebound, it was good to go, but it was like an offensive rebound, another chance, and he's just standing there watching. Really, so you can't use the young player excuse with him. You are going to start using the disappearing act excuse, like, hey, maybe he's just not meant for these kind of moments. So it's a good thing they got the other 3 to rely on, but this team absolutely needs DeAndre Ayton if they're going to win. Ayton is not the Joker, though. That's my case. Hey, exactly. He's not, but there's a lot of other players on that Phoenix team, man. So we'll see how it goes. It sounds like we're expecting long series for that, for the Lakers and what the fuck? Who are the Lakers playing again? Oh, yeah, Warriors. Lakers, Warriors. Like, I got hella shit up on my screen right now. Lakers, Warriors, and then Suns and Nuggets. So we are expecting a little bit longer series there. Now let's move to the East. Got to move to the East. Heat and the Knicks. Epic game 1 there, too. Wow. I've used the word epic a lot today.
That really was epic, though.
It was epic game 1, man. Heat and Knicks. Miami Heat got the win. Jimmy Butler hurt his ankle late in the game. And still, the Heat were able to pull off the win here in New York. Big win there. This series, bro, coming into it, I thought the Knicks would probably get rolled. I was thinking this is a Heat team that's been to the promised land. They know what it takes to get there. They know how to win series like this. And Julius Randle being out doesn't help.
Yeah.
I think if I'm putting a prediction on this, I think the Heat kind of roll the Knicks in this series in 5. And there's not a lot that gives me optimism that the Knicks are going to come back and win this series. I think the Knicks are a good team. They were better than the Cavs. I don't think they're as good as the Heat that has a lot of veterans that can make up for the lack of talent differences if Jimmy Butler's ankle's right.
Yeah, and I think Kyle Lowry, like his veteran leadership was so important towards the end of that game because Jimmy Butler was just basically sitting in the corner. Like he really wasn't able to move too well. And Kyle Lowry, you know, he has a championship. He's been there before. He was able to kind of control the offense, you know, take care of the ball. And that was huge for me. And I'm kind of the same way. I might go Miami in 6. I pray that Jimmy's okay. You know, you look at both these Eastern Conference matchups and, you know, Joel's hurt and now Jimmy, you hate to see it, especially come playoff time. You want to see superstars perform. Jimmy's such a tough guy. Like there's like for him not to go, he stayed in that game towards the end of things. I'm thinking, you know, he's not going to be 100%, but he's going to be, you know,
if he's not 100% though, like say he's not 100%, say he comes back, he's 75, 80% healthy. Is there a world where you see the Knicks beating the Heat? Like even if Jimmy isn't 100% Jimmy Butler, can you see the Knicks winning this series?
I can't. I still think Miami gets it done. I think if Jimmy's not 100%, I'm going to go 6. but I still think Miami takes care of business.
6, I'll give him 6, maybe. I think it's more like 5, but you say 6, I maybe it's a 6, bro. And then the other series in the East, Sixers and Celtics. Game 1. Is it tonight? Game 1
Yeah,
tonight. Yeah,
tonight. Yeah.
tonight. Embiid is out with an injury, doubtful with an injury. Reported that his injury is worse than expected. You know, the Sixers got a really long layoff with the Hawks kind of extending this series out with the Celtics. And now he's still not right.
Wow.
He's doubtful. It doesn't seem very likely that he's playing tonight. What's your thoughts on this series, bro? Because I kind of think without Embiid, obviously, there's no chance. But it kind of felt like the Celtics were going to win this series anyway. They're better defensively, offensively. I like the Celtics setup a little better.
Yeah, I think the Celtics, Atlanta gave them a run for their money there, especially even in the final game. Like Atlanta was up until like the last 4 minutes. I was like, are we going to see, a game 7 for the Boston Celtics? And I think the key here is Boston can't play with their food. They have to take Philadelphia seriously, even if Joel Embiid is not playing. I fully, if I'm making a prediction right now, I'm going to say Celtics in 5. I think Boston's going to take care of business. I think they're going to roll past Philadelphia. And unfortunately, the same narrative about Joel Embiid is going to be continued throughout the offseason.
This is the end of the Sixers process.
This is it.
It's over. Process is done. I don't see a way that they win this series, especially if Joel is out. I think Harden's out of there. This is becoming the Tyrese Maxey show. Tyrese and Embiid will try to do their thing next year. They're going to have to go acquire somebody in the offseason. This is going to be a whole different team next year. And it starts to make you question, Joel Embiid, he was part of the early process, but the process is done now. He's 31, about to be 32 years old. Like he's been in the league for a long time now. This is a different team. They're going to have to bring in a different superstar. So whether that's going to get a Trae Young, going to getting a Damian Lillard, somebody else, it doesn't feel like this team is what they set out to accomplish with the process and Ben Simmons and Embiid and tanking for all those years. It didn't work, man. It's unfortunate, but I'm not really giving the Sixers a chance, even with Embiid coming back in the series. I think the Celtics are the much better team. I think it goes 5, maybe 6 games, maybe. One note from the first round that we didn't talk about, though, was the Sacramento Kings, bro. We gave respect to Curry, but I want to give respect to the Sacramento Kings team, man. De'Aaron Fox, especially in general. A lot of respect was earned from De'Aaron Fox throughout his league mates, throughout the league, the media in general. He deserved it. He became a superstar, a legit superstar in front of our eyes. So I hope he carries his play in the next year and the Kings are back. Fun to watch, man. I was hoping to go to a game.
I was going to say, hey, you got to see the Lakers play, okay? You went to the Lakers, but no, Sacramento was so impressive. And I think, going into next season, we're going to take this team seriously. We really are. We're going to realize that they're going to be a threat in the West probably for a long time. And De'Aaron Fox he was fantastic. He really was.
I want to see the Kings Lakers. We haven't seen that since 2002, bro. I want to see that the rivalry, bro. It needed to be renewed, and I was kind of upset that it didn't. But I think one of the things is you earn respect, and there was a lot of comments from Draymond Green even after the game saying that he respected De'Aaron Fox, he respected Harrison Barnes taking on that role, he respected guys Terrence Davis, Malik, like there were some guys he was saying he respected, but one of the guys he said he lost respect for in that series is the man he decided to stomp and try to break his ribs on and jump and launch himself off of, Domantas Sabonis, who didn't dap him up after the game. But I'm like, if I was going through a series with a guy like that who's just taking me out, Sabonis, I ain't gonna lie, man, he got beat up this damn series.
Yeah, he had he had like a double black eye going. Like he was just, I don't even blame him, man. I wouldn't dab up the guy that was trying to, take me out of the series myself. Yeah.
Kicking him and stomping him and shit. So I didn't like that. Draymond to me, man, I've talked about him on court. I respect, he's a Hall of Famer in my opinion. And I feel like, he gets a lot of hate because of the triple single narrative and that he doesn't bring a lot offensively, but defensively, he's a monster. He's a great facilitator, great rebounder, and obviously a great instigator. You do have to have a strong mentality to make it through a 7-game playoff series with a guy like Draymond on the court. But Sabonis, man, he got beat up. I ain't mad that he didn't dap him up, and I think Draymond's kind of going the low route there. Like I don't really like him calling him out.
Yeah, and like you said, Draymond off the court is a different story. But even Steve Kerr, putting Draymond back into the starting lineup for Game 7, like that was that was a big move that ended up playing in the Warriors' favor, and you can't deny the effect that he has for that Warriors offense and defense when he's on the court.
Derpy ENT. I see your comment. I think the NBA said we can't have Kings win in the playoffs because Curry is the golden boy still, and Curry versus LeBron will always get views no matter what. If you watched the game yesterday, there's no way in hell you could think that the Warriors did not deserve to win that game. Steph Curry's performance was the only reason that the Warriors won that game the way they did. So I'm giving all props to Steph Curry. That's not a refs thing or NBA thing. That was just Steph Curry putting the team on his back saying, we ain't losing this. Y'all not lighting the beam on us. So some of those shots Matt, I hoop for a lot. I've watched a lot of hoop. I played hoop. I played with a lot of players. Like my son plays. I see the young kids. I see the new wave. There's been a lot of hoop that's been played. But some of those shots that Steph Curry was hitting yesterday, bro, like, are you kidding me?
No.
35 out with a hand in your face from the corner, just like he's on a different level. Though.
Yeah,
like,
he's a once in a lifetime talent that, I feel like we are appreciating him because, at some point he's going to be gone and all we're going to have is highlights. But man, that's game 7, a 50-piece in Sacramento, just adding to his legacy.
They said he's the greatest point guard ever played now, based on that. Magic's been the GOAT forever.
Yeah.
Forever. The GOAT point guard, forever. Point God, whatever you want to call him. Magic. Are we placing Steph over Magic now?
If they win the championship this year, how does that narrative change? Does that change it or no for you?
I came up in the era where the point guard was the facilitator, the passer, like defender. That's what you did as the point guard. You made plays for your teammates. That's what you led the team, led the offense. Steph Curry's kind of changed that.
Yeah.
Like we got a lot more combo guards now. Guys that are undersized that would typically fit your point guard role still can facilitate, but also score, like the Dame Lillards, the Tyrese Maxey's kind of a combo guard. So a lot of combo guards, and Devin Booker, right, can play at point. And even like a guy like Luka, like where do you put him? You put him at small forward or point guard. LeBron, small forward or point guard sometimes. It's getting tough to like leave Steph out of his top 10 combo.
Yeah, no, I have Steph in my top 10 players of all time. I do. And I know some people disagree with that, but I think the positions changed so much over the last, decade or so. And in terms of players that have had the biggest effect on the league, Steph Curry's at the very, one of the top players. Like, he changed the game of basketball. I mean, you got kids, like, everyone wants to be like Curry, shooting threes from 30 feet out. Like, there's no denying what he's done for the NBA.
Oh, man, Derpy's going in on him. He says he's not a point guard in my book. He's a shooting guard at this point. All he does is hide behind screens. I'm saying if you put Curry on Magic, he'd be nobody. Just like Jordan, he was blessed with the team that could shoot it. Oh,
I think we got a LeBron fanboy in the chat. I feel like we got a LeBron fanboy in the chat.
But is he wrong though? Is he wrong?
I'm just gonna put this out. If you can't, Steph Curry, his ball off ball, he works harder off ball than anyone I've ever watched play basketball, and he does work around a lot of screens. But that game 5, some of those shots, he walked up 30 feet, defender, hand in the face, and just knocks down a 3. Even just getting to the basket and stuff like that. I mean, he took over that game.
The one comment he said about if you put him on the Magic, he'd be nobody. I kind of disagree with this one. That's probably the one thing he said that was just not factual to me, because the Warriors were the Magic before Steph got there. They built around Steph. They put Clay and Dre on him. They gave him the coaching, Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr. So it wasn't like Steph just came in on this loaded roster. They built it around him, and now we see the fortunes of that. Like, it's easy to say that they're stacked now or have super talent, but to see a guy that can hit from 35 out consistently with a hand in his face, to me, that's just amazing to see. So, Steph Curry, bro, we gonna see a series. It's Steph.
So excited,
man. I'm excited about it too.
Excited.
Normally we get into Daily Dozen. We had a longer show today, so today we're not gonna do Daily Dozen. But we do got to talk about one thing that happened over the time that we were gone. Lamar Jackson got the bag, bro.
Finally, man.
Got the bag. There was a lot of people that he's running quarterback. He's going to get injured. Teams can't afford him. You don't want to pay that much money to a quarterback. No other quarterback's going to get that kind of money. Why should teams want to trade for a quarterback like that? He's past his prime. 26-year-old Lamar Jackson, fresh off watching Jalen Hurts get paid. 5 years, $260 million. Congratulations to Lamar Jackson, proving that you didn't need an agent to get it done. Talent prevailed. You prevailed. You stuck to your guns, and the Ravens did right by their best player that they have. So, what were your thoughts on that when it happened?
It felt, all the comments about Lamar have gotten a little bit more personal ever since Justin Fields became the quarterback of the Chicago Bears, and everyone just says, oh, all he can do is run. He can't throw the football, calling him a running back over a quarterback. Lamar Jackson deserved every penny of that deal. And I still, after the whole Odell move, I wasn't certain, but I was like, they're going to pay Lamar. They're going to pay Lamar. They're going to pay Lamar. And excuse me, I'm just grateful that that whole saga is over, and now we can focus on the actual Baltimore Ravens roster and what they can produce in this upcoming season.
I thought for sure they would go get D-Hop, but it seems like getting Zay Flowers for them now.
Yeah.
They got Zay Flowers, Bateman, OBJ with Mark
Yeah.
Andrews. There's enough talent now around Lamar. They don't really need to go make that move. So there's going to be a lot of talent on that roster. We'll see how it goes this season moving forward. Want to thank everybody for watching the show today. Matt, appreciate you joining me.
Thank you.
Shout out to Champions Round. Like I said, hell of a time out there in LA, meeting the crew and going through the draft and going to the Laker game. Appreciate everybody who's watching. We'll be on the show tomorrow talking more NBA playoffs, NFL offseason storylines, and we're getting back to Daily Dozen tomorrow. So peace out, y'all. Make sure you hit the sub button.